let's look at Denver really quick, because I think that's an interesting job with the ownership change coming at some point. We know that they've already interviewed Jonathan Gannon, Luke Getsy, Aaron Glenn, Nathaniel Hackett. I think we talked about this, right? The two Packers guys are on the list, which makes sense from a like if Rodgers is going to bounce, we'd like to know. Gerard Mayo, Kellen Moore, and Dan Quinn. So multiple Cowboys, multiple Packers in terms of their interviewees, and they've also requested Eric Bieniemy, Brian Callahan, and Kevin O'Connell. Have you heard anything?
I'm saying, Will, it's too many names. Oh my God, you just named like half the coaches in the NFL. Go ahead.
I mean, it is actually 8 interviews and then 3 more requests. I mean, that's 11 interviews. Like, if I get that it's good that you want to hear from as many people.
No, you should be thorough, but from a reporting standpoint, I just don't.
Didn't you have an idea of who you might want to hire? Like, didn't you have I feel like you have a short list and that's how you do it, but maybe.
Well, part of it is intel gathering. Part of it is, for future things. And so it's not that I have a problem with it being thorough. All I'm saying is from a reporting standpoint, talk to me at the second round and after, because this first round is just like, it's almost like with the field of 64 with March Madness. It's just too much right now.
It's like a spray and pray type of thing where they're just trying to get as many guys in the building as they can, right? Well, what do you think their sort of direction is? They have a GM in place in George Payton. He was in Minnesota when they hired Mike Zimmer. I don't know that necessarily gives any real indication as to what what he might do in terms of hiring his own guy, but it does seem like he is. I guess he's trying both sides. I mean, Jonathan Gannon, Mayo, we're talking about defensive guys, and Dan Quinn, of course, and then several offensive guys as well. Do you have a sense on how that search is sort of going?
So I have talked to a source who went through one of those interviews and just talking to, some people around the situation. And one of the things that they told me that stuck out to them, even though it is somewhat of a football cliche, is that
a leader of men,
that they are looking, and that they're not necessarily offense oriented or defense oriented. And this person came away very, very impressed with the general manager, George Payton, not Patton, even though it looks like Patton. I have to keep telling myself that even when I say it, because I can't say it how it looks. And so that was that. But obviously, there's been a lot of talk as far as the Broncos and their affinity, for Dan Quinn. A lot of people think that this is the way that it's going to go. Will allow the Broncos to get through the entire process. Obviously, it is hard to not notice the way in which Dan Quinn helped to really galvanize the Cowboys defense, the energy that he has. And it kind of reminds me similar to Robert Saleh when he was just constantly taking photographs of on the sidelines. And so, so that it's kind of the same thing.
Dan Quinn was getting the camera love every week. With the back of the pad out there, chilling up in the box.
So should we as media people, should we get a stipend, when that happens, like basically we help you get the job.
Dan, you owe CBS, or I guess Fox, because it's the Cowboys.
I'm just saying, all that camera time, and then you get the job or whatever. So these are the things that you hear. But here again, with the defensive candidates, they still have to come into this interview with a strong plan as to what they're going to do on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
And from Dan Quinn, I'm sure he had to go into that interview explaining what is it that he has learned since his time with the Atlanta Falcons, subsequently firing all 3 coordinators, and what he was very vocal about at the outset of him taking the job with the Dallas Cowboys, which was all the self-evaluation, self-scouting he did of himself coaching, to really, and asking other people around the league what they thought of his coaching and certain things like that, and using all that intel in terms of how he was able to corral the Cowboys defense. So I would not be surprised there. But again, with all of the teams that have a very huge question mark at quarterback, it's not just about being a rah-rah and, galvanizing that defense. The offense is not the one, the defense rather is not the one throwing the ball.